Well, that sure went fast, didn't it? 2021 is already over? Apparently so. It was another crazy year, but it was also filled with great new tech for us to enjoy. Hey everyone, I'm Caleb Dennison, and to celebrate the passing of 2021, Digital Trends editors are here to tell you about their favorite piece of tech this year. We have lots of good ones in store, so let's get to it. Before I kick things off, what was your favorite piece of tech in 2021? Let us know down in the comments, and if you end up liking this video, hit us with a like and consider subscribing so you can have fun with us through 2022 and beyond. Thanks, you're awesome. Okay, so I'll start. My favorite piece of tech this year is the Trifo Lucy AI-powered smart robot vacuum. This thing has made my life so much better. Now, if you've ever owned a robot vac before, then you already know most of them aren't that smart. Basically just roaming around aimlessly, bumping into stuff, and eventually, hopefully, covering all of your floor. The Trifo Lucy vac is legit smart. It uses a 1080p camera, day and night vision, and a host of other sensors to build a map of your home, and then it uses that map to clean your floors in an organized way and with efficiency. Lucy has a massive rechargeable battery built in, so it can cover a ton of floor space in one go. It can detect objects as short as 1 inch high, so it will not run into a pet mess. And speaking of pet messes, there's a pet version with higher suction and a brushless attachment to get up all the pet hair without getting tangled up. Lucy is also a security sentinel. If it detects movements in the home when it shouldn't, it'll alert you. And you can pull up Lucy's camera on the Trifo app and steer the robot around manually to have a look around your house from afar if you want. You can even talk to pets, intruders, or your babysitter using the built-in mic and speaker. Best of all, it's a great vacuum. Its high suction power leaves nothing behind, and it's easy enough to clean as well. All those pine needles and leaves my family tracks in, they don't stand a chance.
Have you ever gone to a friend's house to play Super Smash Bros. And they've handed you a knockoff controller? You know what that means. You're probably not their best friend. Third-party controllers have a reputation for being cheaply made. But Turtle Beach's Recon Xbox controller is the rare gamepad that I might actually prefer to the real thing. Sorry, Microsoft. The Recon's key feature is that it includes a sound mixer on board that lets players easily adjust the volume of both their game audio and voice chat, so no more straining to hear your teammates over a symphony of explosions and gunfire. It also includes a few preset sound profiles that let you prioritize bass or give a game's sound mix a boost with the superhuman hearing option. Now on top of that, it features 2 back buttons and a precision aiming mode that lets you decrease stick sensitivity with the press of a button. Seems a little unfair, but I'll take all the help I can get. That's an impressive suite of features for its $60 price tag. So if you come over to play Halo Infinite and I hand you a Turtle Beach Recon, be rest assured that you're on my good side. But honestly, I'm probably going to use it myself. Sorry, I just like myself more.
The MacBook Pro was long overdue for a comeback, and this year Apple gave us a spectacular one, especially if performance is what matters to you. The M1 Pro and the M1 Max in this MacBook Pro are far better than I thought they would be, and really make a case for why this new MacBook Pro is the most important computing product of the year. We've just never seen a processor of this type perform with this much gusto, especially not on the graphics front, and especially not in a laptop that almost never heats up or even gets loud. That couldn't be more different than the previous generations of MacBook Pros, and it helps this new one easily take the crown for the best laptop for creative professionals. But for me, it's the quality of life improvements that make this stand out. It's the near endless battery life. It's the fantastic mini LED display. It's the full-size function keys on the top row, and it's even the improved 1080p webcam. It's the complete package in a way that no other laptop is, and that's why it's easily my favorite tech product of 2021.
After 3 generations of continuous improvement, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 is finally the foldable for the average consumer to buy. It comes packed with tweaks and improvements that have addressed most, if not all, of the big complaints of previous generations. It's much more durable, with Gorilla Glass Victus on the cover screen, a more svelte hinge that also lasts longer, a diminished screen crease, and improved protector, and IPX8 waterproofing. Using the Fold 3's 7.6-inch screen is a delight for multitasking and gaming, and I had no trouble sinking hours into Genshin Impact. It's the first foldable that I seriously felt compelled to use as my daily driver. The big reason is that the compromises are largely gone. It has a flagship processor and triple rear cameras with a wide-angle, ultra-wide, and telephoto sensor. All three screens, including the cover screen, are Quad HD and support a 120Hz refresh rate, so you don't feel like you're missing anything compared to the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Make no mistake though, it's still a princely $1,800, but the price isn't too far from the upper range of top-tier flagships, and what you get with the Fold 3 is more than a phone. If you can stomach the price, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 is the folding phone to get.
Hi, mobile guy Chris DeGraw here, and my favorite gadget of the year is perhaps surprisingly not a phone, but rather the LG C1 OLED TV. I've owned good TVs. I've owned big TVs, but I've never owned a really good, really big TV, and let me tell you, my first foray into giant OLED displays has left me a changed man. As a gamer who's been fortunate enough to secure some of the latest consoles, having 4 HDMI 2.1 ports takes the stress of switching inputs and cords out of the equation entirely. Add in VRR and NVIDIA G-Sync support, and a game-specific mini menu for easy access to relevant settings, and the prospect of using this gorgeous display as a couch-friendly computer monitor becomes a very real possibility, if a bit of an unhinged one at 77 inches. Of course, you can get a smaller one, but look, don't judge me, all right? I love the way the remote works like a Nintendo Wiimote, but better. I love that I can't see any light, color, or saturation weakening around the edges or corners because there are millions of tiny, independently lit dots. Local dimming is a buzzword I no longer even have to entertain, for the same reason. It's just a beautiful slab of glass, you know? Is it the very best? No. You can get a G1 or some other more expensive TV with higher specs and more features. I don't know, ask Caleb for the specifics, but this one was just affordable enough that I was able to convince the other financial stakeholder in my life that acquiring it wasn't an entirely ridiculous proposition. And so far, it's been everything I could reasonably want out of a TV, and then some more.
So the most important technology for me in 2021 actually came out in 2020, but given as how we've been in this perpetual loop for the better part of a couple years, just go with me here. So the thing that I've spent the most time with in 2021, and come to think of it, the most money on, is the Canon R6. I was in need of a new camera this year and got something that would work for me, well, for work, and also for all the things I do on my own time outside of work. So the work side of things is, well, it's what you're seeing here. It's me on camera using the R6, by the way. It's product shots, it's reviews, things like that, you know, the stuff that pays the bills. But what I've really enjoyed doing this year outside of work is still photography, right? I spend a whole lot of time on soccer fields with my kids and their teams. I volunteer with the City Rec League, and it's been a whole lot of fun just getting out and snapping shots of all the kids out there. It's something that I didn't have as much growing up. Now I know that, you know, all the parents have cell phones, they've got cameras on them, and that's fine and all. It's just not the same, and the R6 is a perfect camera to do this with. So the R6 fit the bill for pretty much exactly what I wanted. It'll do 4K at up to 60 frames per second. It'll do 120 frames per second at 1080p, which for my purposes is perfectly fine. It's got a 20 megapixel sensor. It has in-body stabilization and stabilization in the new RF lenses, and I didn't have any Canon glass, so I've spent a lot of money on that this year. And this is really cool, it has the capability of recording video to 2 SD cards at the same time, so you've got all that redundancy and backup and stuff. So mostly I'm taking still pictures just as much as I can with a little video thrown in here and there. I still remember how to do that. But here's the really cool part. The R6 has gotten better over the past year thanks to the 2 firmware updates that I've gotten already, plus the ones before that. And I have no doubt that it's only going to continue getting better in 2022.
My favorite bit of tech from 2021 is the new Kindle Paperwhite from Amazon, which might seem like kind of a boring pick, but hear me out because I used to be one of those people that just hated e-readers, and this is the one that completely changed my mind. So for almost as long as e-readers have existed, I was that stereotypical hipster that was like, screw that, I'm never giving up on physical books. But then the pandemic hit, and suddenly I didn't have a good way to get books from the library anymore. But then a friend explained to me that you can still get library books, you just have to get a Kindle and you can check them out electronically. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll do that, and I bought a used and like refurbished one because I'm a cheapskate. That first Kindle, my starter Kindle, was honestly, it was a piece of crap. It got the job done, but it did, like, you know, the bezels were huge, the battery was garbage, it had a micro USB charging port, so I had to hunt down that one stupid outdated cable like every time that I needed to charge it, and I really just tolerated it. And like my inner hipster was like, man, you were right all along, you should have never given in. But then I got this new one, the 11th generation Paperwhite, and holy hell, it is on a completely different level. It's damn near perfect. So like, it's got 10 weeks, which is 2.5 months of battery per charge. It's got a faster processor, so it feels just more responsive when you use it. You can adjust the color temperature and make it like, you know, a little bit more red or blue or whatever. And best of all, it's got USB-C, so no more hunting for old cables. So basically, Amazon has addressed all of the annoying little flaws that e-readers used to have. So if you haven't already embraced the e-reader life, there has never been a better time to do it.
For over 2 years, I spent most of my waking hours with Bose QC45 headphones gently placed on my head. When it came time to upgrade my worn-out QC35s, the over-ear ANC headphone space was entirely different. There's so many options now with advanced features and sleek designs, yet I took the most boring possible path, upgrading to the Bose QC45s, and I'm so glad that I did. As I looked at the shiny new Bose NC700s, Sony WH-XM4s, AirPods Max, and on down the list, I realized I didn't need or even want all of the features that have somehow become standard across the headphone industry. I have no need for finicky touch controls, auto head sensing, spatial audio, or frankly, any promises of higher quality speaker tuning. I already loved my QC35s, and that's why I love my new QC45s just as much. They're the same damn headphones I've relied on for years, just remade for 2021. They're light on my head and oh so comfortable around my ears, and I don't care that that means they're made out of kind of cheap feeling and looking plastic. They have 4 simple buttons to control everything. The ear cups fold and let the QC45s collapse into a familiar compact case. The battery lasts longer than I'd ever need, and they now charge over USB-C. Honestly, I could have upgraded just for that feature alone. I could have bought ANC headphones that were more interesting to use, sound better, have more features, or look fancier. They would have cost about the same as the QC45s too, yet I have zero regrets. These Bose cans are going to be on my head for the next 2 years. I just hope Bose has a simple QC55 refresh in the works for my next headphone upgrade.
Hey again, thanks for watching everyone. What did you think of our list? Let us know in the comments. Please consider liking and subscribing. And here's 2 other videos I think you'll like.